Please rise. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Diana.
Yes, sir. So James is not here tonight, so for a moment of silence, he has given me two names. One is Don Morris, who is a longtime member of our fire department down at Delphi Falls. He passed away last week. And William Dowling, who supported, I guess, a lot of the farmers up here, his business was in ag. So those are the only two names that I have. So if you want to take a moment.
Thank you. Jim?
Sure. We do have a copy of my reports. First, I can request the board make a motion to approve the June 2025 supervisors report.
I will make a motion to approve the June 2025 supervisory report.
And I will second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the June 2025 supervisors report. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried.
Second, I'd like to request the board make a motion to approve the June 2025 supervisors bank reconciliation.
I will make a motion to approve the supervisor's bank reconciliation for June of 25.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the supervisor's bank reconciliations for June 2025. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried.
Relatively quiet month. I don't have any budget transfers or modifications. I am going to begin preparing 2026 budget requests this month. So those should be going out end of the month or early August. And then we'll have to work to get some dates on the calendar, workshops, things of that nature. We did receive our first installment of mortgage tax for the year, $72,807. That's slightly more than what we were expecting, so it should be a little bit above budget if the second installment, which comes in January, December or January, if that comes in comparable. Outside of that, night class interest, another $8,300. So year to date, we're about $44,000 of interest income. So we're looking pretty good at this point. Everything for, budget wise, we're looking pretty good. So outside of that, nothing bad.
Thanks, Jim.
Great. Thank you.
Nice, good news. We'll take good news like that anytime.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Nikki?
I'm looking for board acceptance of my June 10th regular draft.
I'll make a motion to accept the draft minutes from last month, June.
Motion made and seconded to approve the board regular meeting minutes for June 2025. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Carried.
Approval for my bank reconciliation reports for June 2025 for both the town clerk and tax collector accounts.
Make a motion to accept the bank reconciliation for June 2025 for the town clerk and the town collector and the tax collector.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to accept the bank reconciliation for June 2025 for the town clerk and tax collector. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried.
And lastly, just approval for the payment of bills for the vouchers I prepared.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills for the month of June.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to pay the bills for the month of June 2025. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried. Thank you, Nikki.
Yep.
Everybody got the codes officer's report?
Thank you.
Motion to accept that.
It's been busy.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We accept the town of Pompey Code Enforcement Officer's report.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the codes enforcement officer's report for June 2025. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried. Highway Superintendent's report, BR is not here as they're all on vacation this week. And I have just a short little summary of what he left me. We have finished our first phase of oil and stone, approximately 9 miles. And will commence to sweeping any excess stone on our return from vacation. We got approved for the grant money from Onondaga County Soil and Water and received a check for REACT blades that were purchased for trucks 19 and 44. And looks like they are going to do another round of grant money. Something I will look into when I get back. Moving forward, we will start prepping Pompey Pines for the second phase of paving. That will include replacing all catch basins, risers that are in the need of repair. I will also start planning the oil and water separator installation. Hallelujah. Also, something new and a small washout that is forming on Gulf Road that we will need to be repaired before winter. Culvert replacement, ditching and mowing roadside, we will fit in there as well. That's the end of the report for BR. Town council's report, Diana.
Okay, so first of all, I forgot to bring them in, Nikki, so I'll get them to you tomorrow. We need to approve the audits. All the audits are done, the judges, the supervisor, the town clerk, and the tax collector audits are all finished, and I actually got them done 2 months earlier than last year. So we need a motion to accept those reports so I can turn them into Nikki.
Dave, can I make a motion, because I was involved in the audit, does it make a difference?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we accept the audits that we did for the town clerk and the 2 justices
And supervisor.
and the supervisor
And the tax collector, right?
and the tax collector. Anybody else?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the audits that were performed for the town clerk, supervisor, and the judges,
And the tax collector.
and the tax collector. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried.
And again, Facebook stuff, I see some expenses coming through for getting the website in order. Do you have anything else to report on the website or the Facebook?
I'm just waiting for approval from you guys to move forward on one way or the other.
Oh,
So I submitted that to Tom and I guess I was just waiting to hear back. How you'd like to go forward.
I think I saw an email I replied to.
Oh, I didn't. see that.
Anybody else see that email?
Ruscio sent an email with a couple of different options.
Oh, yeah, we
for
said,
review.
why don't we go with the easier option?
Yeah, but okay, so it never got to you?
No.
Okay, so we're all, I think it was option A.
Yeah.
That I think most of us were in the general consensus with option A.
Okay, so do you want to just send me that in an email so we have it? Doesn't have to be tonight.
Do you have the email with?
I do, and I can respond to it.
Okay,
But we probably ought to have a motion to move forward because there's gonna be some expense there.
I make a motion that we move forward with the Facebook per the email option A, which I'd have to look to see what the exact verbiage is, so that we can move forward getting Facebook back up and running.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve cost of setting up the Facebook page for the town of Pompey.
Yep, and I'll be in touch as we get going on that, and nothing will go live until you guys are ready. Okay.
We've determined that the supervisor is gonna be the person that
Correct.
determines the information. Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, say no. Carried. Dave?
Yeah, so just a couple of things. First, there's been some concerns from Pompey Pines and the preserve about the vegetation growth around the entrance and the exits to both developments. And it is a dangerous situation. We looked into it, we talked to BR about it. Unfortunately, it is a county road. BR reached out to the county people to see if they can come down and mow it. There's been 2 adults that I know from our neighborhood that have almost gotten in accidents there. So, you know, in addition to the concerns about speed that Tom's gonna address again, we gotta get that vegetation cut down.
Just so you know, it's everywhere, because like, I actually was just talking about that today. In
Okay.
Delphi, we have some intersections that you really have to creep out. I'm ready to take one tree and get the clippers myself.
Yeah.
And clean out a
Yeah.
corner, because it's
Well-
just getting real hazardous out there.
Essentially, I'd said, you know, I'll just get my weed whacker and go down there and weed whack away. The second matter I wanted to cover was with respect to Deb's comments last month. You asked if somebody would please answer you with respect to the legal charges, fees, dollars incurred. So I couldn't answer you at the time because I didn't have any of the facts. So in the last month, I got the facts and I'd like to go through them with you if that's okay. So in 2023, there was a change from who we were using as a lawyer. Tim Ferteschi was with a different firm. We continued to use him. He then came to Harris Beach. We continued to have that relationship. In 2024, we made the decision that instead of having separate legal firms covering the zoning board, the planning board, and the town board for legal representation, we wanted to have one firm cover everything. And the logic to that was A, their professionalism and their experience. B, the fact that there wouldn't be any litigation matters or general information that was lost in translation from firm to firm. So we felt like that was a responsible way to handle any legal matters that came up. It's concise, it's consistent, and it's all with one firm. Finally, with respect to the cost, you had mentioned that in 2024, I took notes. In 2024, we spent $118,000. The exact number is $117,504, so that was pretty darn close. Of that charge, $38,674 was standard monthly billing. The standard monthly billing is a charge that the town is charged for the retainer and the many, many calls that get placed and covered from town board members, from zoning board members, and from planning board members to Dave and Amelia and to the other folks in their firm that want help with legal matters. So that we have that part, and then we have the litigation part. In 2024, we had 2 actions that were brought against the town. For the record, we have sued nobody. It's no actions that we brought to somebody. We had to respond to protect the planning board and the town in 2 litigation actions. That totaled $78,830, which represented 67.09% of the total budget that we had allocated and overspent, frankly, to respond to that litigation. In that litigation, the town won and it was appealed. So in 2025, you can expect more charges from a litigation standpoint that we're going to have to cover again. The standard monthly billing to date is $29,584. And totaling $36,462 for 2025. Again, they cover all legal matters. The standard monthly retainer covers the time and resources to support the town and all 3 boards. Litigation matters are obviously above and beyond. And there was some discussion and questions in the past about, well, can you find somebody that can do both, provide legal representation and litigation? I went back and questioned some of the lawyers that we've had in the past, and they said that that's not something that they did. So if there's another firm that you know of that did that, I'd like to have a contact and a phone number so I can follow up with them to make sure that we understand the basis of those thoughts. I hope that answers your question. So just to review, 2023 with Harris Beach, we spent $8,000. 2024, $117,504. And in 2025 to date, $36,462. And again, both the standard monthly billing will continue to go on, as well as any additional litigation fees that we're gonna have to cover. So I hope that answers your questions.
But I understand that there's gonna be further litigation coming up with the appeal
Yes, that is true.
and that's gonna be really in the neighborhood of $1,000 an hour.
Yeah, unfortunately, Deb, I can't answer that. I don't know what it's gonna cost, and I don't know, how many hours are gonna be required to properly respond to that matter.
The venue got moved to New York City, so it's gonna be a lot pricier for the town.
Very possibly.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything.
Can I just interject something there?
Sure.
I think I just heard you say that it's gonna be $1,000 an hour.
For attorney fees.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm hearing.
no, the agreement with the town is $350 an hour.
Okay, so no
I
matter
don't-
where it is, no matter where the litigation is, if it's in New York City, it's not gonna be more money.
Yeah, I'm not at all familiar with any litigation in New York City. I would think I would be, but if you're referring to the appeal,
Mhm.
the appeal is at the fourth department, which there's 4 different departments for appellate divisions. This is in the fourth department, which generally speaking covers almost to Rochester, or to Rochester, Syracuse, almost to Albany. So there's nothing in New York City that I'm aware of. So, but it
Federal
wouldn't
district?
matter
It's in
any.
federal court or
No, it's not in federal
Okay.
court. It's,
state?
again, the Supreme Court is the general court of jurisdiction.
Mhm.
Above that, there are 4 appellate divisions, which cover all areas of the state. And then above that is the New York Court of Appeals, which is the highest court in the state. So again, this is in the fourth department, which basically sits in Rochester. And so there's nothing in New York City, but even if it was, it, under our agreement, it wouldn't affect the rate that's being charged. I hope that clarifies.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where are we with the dog fight? Did you get dragged into that? Thing?
No, that's tomorrow night, and the question on it is, I think the complainant was confused by what Judge Amon told him, that the town does have the ability, if it wanted to intercede and intervene, I should say, intervene in the action. But it is the complainant that's bringing the action against the person that owns the dog, and Judge Amon will have that hearing tomorrow.
So we're out of it.
Yes, the town is not intervening in that. We have for everyone's edification, the town does have a contract with SPCA. And typically speaking, the SPCA can bring an action if it finds a dangerous dog or something along those lines. In this instance, it's the individual that I guess got attacked, or somebody, the dog came after a couple of people. So
Right.
that's who's brought the action.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Something that did not make the agenda because it got to me too late. From the attorney. The town of Pompey currently does not have an escrow agreement in place for applicants for large projects to sign. This has not been an issue previously, but the general counsel for Norbit Solar Farms is trying to have the town use Norbit's form escrow agreement. I have attached a proposed agreement that is more favorable to the town. If possible, I would like it to be considered at the next town board meeting so that we can use it moving forward. This agreement has been reviewed by Tim, and if adopted, Tim would include the agreement for the applicants to sign and consent to when they make their deposit. The deposit is to cover attorney and engineering expenses incurred by the town in relation to reviewing applications. Has everybody seen this?
Yes.
I like it. So in essence, I love the fact that I guess previously they were only required to deposit a certain amount for fees. And then once those were gone, then the town incurred the expenses, where this says that they have to agree to incur whatever additional expenses the town may have. Or these projects.
Yeah.
So I think that's, I like that.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely needed, the projects that I think we're gonna see in the near future and farther into the future with respect to the Micron project coming to town. I think we're gonna see more and more activity, so I'd like to get that put in place. So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the agreement that Harris Beach drafted on behalf of the town and use that going forward.
Escrow agreement, yeah.
Yeah. The escrow agreement.
You change the fee structure once they write an application.
The fee structure. You're not required to have the escrow agreement, and the fee structure, just to correct a little bit. The town is permitted to charge those fees regardless, whether there's an escrow agreement or not. Most of the municipalities around here have the escrow agreement that lays it out. So that's, they're adopting what is already basically there in the law. Just to have it so that they can give it to the people making the applications.
With a standing application right before the zoning board. Is that all right to do?
But all it is putting in writing what the law already says it had, that the town can do. They can charge those fees and engineering fees, lawyer fees, things like that. So it's basically putting into writing so applicants see it, understand it, and
There it is.
yeah, and it's a pretty standard document amongst all municipalities. I understand the question, though. It's a valid question.
Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
If anybody doesn't know, there is another solar project in front of the zoning board right now. And there's a public hearing on Monday. So,
So, yeah, do you want to make a motion to accept them?
oh, I want to make, you already
I made a
motion.
motion.
I'll second it.
All right.
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks. So just to further elaborate, I think on Monday, I'm gonna come up. But it's on a 100-acre parcel. It's, I think, 5 megawatts, which is pretty large. With, if I understand that correctly, they're gonna have battery storage on the facility. So,
It was, it's on the town website too, if anybody wants to view the last meeting to see what happened there. But yeah, it's big. It's very big. You know, they're talking about stripping land, they're talking about taking down trees, they're.
Also a wetland back there as well,
Wetland back there, yeah.
and some endangered species back there that the county is upset about.
And the roads aren't they? They're looking at the corner of Sweet Road and Brockfield. Another accident waiting to happen.
that's where we've had a couple tragedies.
Already.
All right, so anyway, so that's going on, and I don't know, everybody talks about doing moratoriums against solar and stuff. I'm not sure how that works. But we may want to talk about as a board, a way to stop certain projects until we can make sure all of our codes and zoning are really up to date with the current situations. Some of our stuff may be outdated, on old stuff. So we really may have to look at some of this stuff in a new current fashion. Just to make sure that all the ducks are in a row.
Okay.
Okay?
We're in the middle of the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we went through the discussion phase.
Motion made and seconded to approve an escrow agreement in place for applicants for large projects. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carried.
Sorry, I got sidetracked.
No,
Well, fine. Okay, supervisors report beyond the escrow agreement, digitizing records. Nikki can tell you as well as Tim, that our file cabinets are becoming overstuffed in the town clerk's office, the vault, the tax assessor's office, the codes office, and the storage room. We're running out of file cabinets. They're all full. And we'll expand the building or buy more file cabinets or get our files digitized. And the biggest problem would be if we had a catastrophic fire and lost all of our files, we would be in dire straits. So I want to start the process of looking at third-party organizations that digitize municipalities. So we can figure out during our budget process, how much it's gonna cost, how long it would take, and who the best company would be to use. So that's a very important situation going on right there. We need a resolution to authorize the supervisor to sign the intermunicipal agreement between the Fayetteville Manlius Central School District and the town of Pompey for tax collection services.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the intermunicipal agreement between Fayetteville Manlius and town of Pompey for tax collection services. Is that the one we need to make an amendment to?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, just so for the record, just before the meeting started, the agreement that was disseminated to everybody. Mr. Gosher was kind enough to point out this typo that in section 5 that refers back to section 3 inadvertently, and it should be section 4. So the agreement that will ultimately be approved and signed will have that change in that.
I'll make the correction.
Okay.
Second, the motion to approve it with the correction.
Motion made and seconded to authorize a supervisor to sign the intermunicipal agreement between the FM School District and the town of Pompey for tax collection services. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Those say no. Carried.
Hey, Tom, who's gonna help us with trying to get information about digitalizing the records? Are you just
Well, I was
picking it up?
I was just gonna start looking,
Oh, okay, good.
talk to some of my town supervisor friends and see who they use and then get a feel for that and
Yeah.
get 2 or 3 lined up and find out what it's gonna cost, how long it would take. We can't do that in-house. It's just,
It's too much.
it's too big a job.
And I agree with you.
Iron Mountain.
Yeah,
They're very popular.
yeah, we see them a lot. So, you mentioned the catastrophic fire. I mean, it could be anything, like, tornadoes, the wind, all that other jazz. And, after you look at it, all of our records are here. I mean, they're not in the cloud anywhere.
So
So,
that's it, what we have here.
no people are.
Be catastrophic if that were to
Yeah.
happen. Okay, I want to give you an update on Main Street funding from the Onondaga County Development. The Pompey Club finally got part of his work completed. His total investment for the project was $93,100, less the match of $23,275. He requested $46,500 for work completed, less the match of $23,275. I received a check from Onondaga County Development for the $23,225 for the Pompey Club. And you have a voucher, Jim, that we've signed and approved, so we need to cut a check for him. He called me this morning, wanted to make sure that he was gonna get the check pretty soon. There's $23,325 left on his grant. Holbrook Heating total investment was $98,000, plus a match of $24,500. He requested $54,846.46 for work completed, less match of $24,500. The check issued, we issued him a check. I got a check from Onondaga County Development. We issued him a check for $30,346.46 on April 14th. He just recently requested $28,368.79 for work completed. Approved, I forwarded it into Onondaga County Development and they approved it. And we are now waiting for the check. It should be here within a few days. So I need a resolution to authorize Jim to cut a check when we get our check into our bank account. Is that legit?
Yep.
I make
a
a-
motion
go
to approve authorizing Jim to write checks to, the checks go directly to Pompey Club and Hope, correct?
The checks come right to town of Pompey.
The And then
We put them in our
Jim,
account.
but Jim, right, we're authorizing Jim to write the checks to
Yes.
those two entities.
Yes. So we have a motion.
Okay.
Motion and seconded.
Yeah, I'll second it.
To approve paying Holbrook Heating the 28,368.79 once that check comes into our bank account. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed, say no. Carried. So Holbrook Heating has $14,784.75 left available for his to complete his project. JMS Services has a total investment of $20,550, less match of $85.43. His work is in progress. He tells me he should be completed by the end of July. And Knoxie's, apparently the contractor they had backed out at the last minute, but they've hired a new one, and they're gonna start their project within a couple of weeks. So that takes care of Main Street. Sam Grant, State of New York grant, a $250,000 grant where we got the snow plow and all of the stuff that goes with it. We have approximately 67,000 left. BR and our engineer are working on getting bids to get the oil and water separator installed in the shop. That should be done before cold weather. They're looking to get state bids. It takes some time. They're working on it. And they're gonna keep me up to date on how they're doing with that.
Okay.
The NYSERDA grant for re-insulating the western or the eastern section of the highway shop. John Shaheen is working diligently on that. He's got 3 bids. I know you've been involved with that, Bill, and trying to figure out what the best way to go and to get the biggest bang for our buck. And I'll update on that as we move along. Speed limits on Route 91 and Sweet Road. That's gonna be a long road to hoe. I'm dealing with the New York State DOT regional office. And I'm gonna just have to keep after them. It's not gonna be easy. I know we've attempted it in the past under previous administrations, and we didn't make out very good. And in lieu of that, we're gonna try to do something about Broadfield and Sweet Road, flashing yellow lights or something that will indicate it's a dangerous intersection.
Sweet Gates.
Sweet and Gates is bad, but Sweet and Broadfield is where we had the 2 accidents this last 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Right, Sweet and Gates, we've had multiple fatalities at.
We have,
Yeah.
well, I'm working on Sweet and Broadfield. Bring up Sweet and Gates later. Oh, and Sweet and Pratt Falls ain't no picnic there. We almost got clobbered there once, didn't we, Phyllis? So that is a work in progress and I'll keep after it. I'll get John Lamondes involved and see if he can do anything. And go from there. The Pompey Historical Society, July 16th at 7 p.m. The Loomis Gang. Is that James's crowd? The presenter is Sue Greenhagen, historian for the village of Morrisville and the town of Eaton. So anybody interested in going to that and find out who the Loomis Gang is, that would be great. Good God. Sorry. What the hell? You might find out more about James and want to know. Borderline absurd or totally absurd. One more thing that I didn't get on. Happened.
That's right.
The grant that we're working on for. Oh, what is it? I got so many grants in my head, I can't keep track of them. The Environmental Conservation Committee is working on the grant for water. Something. What is that? Anybody have that? What am I misplaced it?
The trees, maybe?
Well, the Tree USA is part of it. And I just talked to Phil earlier today to get an update.
Was that the email I sent today? Was that the email?
So the USA Tree thing, you will want to get involved in that, right? So Phil George is the chair of the Environmental Conservation Commission, and he has put Pauline Drexler as the lead person on the USA Tree Program. So if you want to know anything about it, she's the lead person on that. She runs a tree farm, right?
She does.
So she should be well versed in that. And then on the grant, which is something to do with flooding and that kind of thing, the water or something, I forgot what. Anyway, he's put John Harrington in charge of that. And he's on the Environmental Conservation Commission. And he said that is a very complicated process. No kidding, all grants are very complicated processes. So he's gonna keep me informed as to how they're progressing on that. And when I get that information, I'll relay it on to everybody here. I have nothing else, public comments.
Thank you, Dave, for getting back to me on all the legal fees. Still kind of wondering why we're spending legal fees on a meat packing plant, and we know it's not going forward. I think the other party backed out, and it just seems funny not funny, but not, good to keep spending on town attorney money on something that's not going forward. So, that's. Also, I want to talk about the solar issue. It's too bad, unfortunately, that we have to deal with this again. I thought we had, the other 3 times it's come forward, I thought, that people would stay away from our town, especially knowing that we have majority against solar currently. And I was really hoping the board could maybe make something more permanent to keep the solar issue from keep popping up. It's intermittent energy at best. And it's an eyesore, and it's a very bad area as far as traffic, this particular. The residents show up in full force against it. Nobody wants it here, except for the companies that come in. So I'm just hoping to get some, that the board will do something, to keep these solar places from applying here. If there's anything that can be done. So that's what I'm asking for.
Oh, Billmore? No. I apologize.
Bill,
My apologies.
Good evening. Just a couple of, make 2 points. Just when you're talking about the traffic safety, when you discussed that at last month board meeting, I had another thought. So when Hamilton comes down to Route 91, it's very tough to see if you're turning right or if you're crossing over. And we get a lot of traffic in the morning going to the golf course. And a lot of people come down Sweet Road, Hamilton, and then down 91. It's very tough to see. And I can't tell you how many times that I've looked and waited just to pull out and have somebody come up on my bumper. So maybe that's an area to do a flashing light or reduce speed or something like that. Just a suggestion to add to your list of things that you would come up with. And the other thing I wanted to just bring up is the discussion about digitizing the records. Is there any plan to make those available online, or will they just strictly be, for the town's purposes?
These are not all.
They won't become public record. I guess they are. Some of them could be public record if somebody requested them, but would they be out there on the internet so anybody could scroll through? If anybody's thought about that. No. 'Cause I know other towns, if you're looking for public records, you can go in and pay a fee. Maybe that's a way to generate some revenue for the town to set something like that up. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Phil, I want to share one little lesson Tom and I learned recently from someone that grew up on Broadfield and Sweet Road. And he explained it to us and I was like, you got to tell me that again. So he's spent his whole life in that intersection, in that he lives in the houses there. And he said his dad taught him a really good trick. And I said, what's that? He said, when you go up there, you can't see because there's a knoll. He said, roll your window down. And my wife and I, we're going down the road. I'm like, all right, I gotta try this. So you roll the window down, you can actually hear whether a car's
Yeah.
coming or not. And then, well, I mean, you clearly probably don't want to do it in the middle of the winter, but you know, every other time takes 2 seconds. And that's what I shared with my kids.
Yeah, good point. I am more worried about other people, particularly,
Yeah.
you know, in the summer mornings when people are going to the golf course.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they're late for their tea time and they're hurrying and they don't
Yeah.
take the time to wait, so.
You can put that in the for whatever it's worth department,
Yeah.
but I did try it. It does work.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe it'll save somebody's life.
very good. Thank you.
School buses have a hard time coming
Oh,
off
that's-
Taylor Road on the 91.
Anybody on Zoom? Veronica?
No. I mean, there are people, but no.
There's no further business to come before the town. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
A second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No. Meeting is adjourned.
Very much.